Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is a little bit after 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. It means it's time for a live stream. Sorry, I'm running late today, guys. Today is a very frantic day. Lots of things happening. It's tax day. And of course, I didn't take care of all that stuff ahead of time. It's Marathon Monday. The Boston Marathon was earlier today. And we've just got like a ton of other things happening at our house. So it's just been very, very frantic. Also, to make it even worse, I published a running watch, a GPS watch video today, and those are always just such a labor for me to be able to get done. But it's uploaded now. I uploaded just a couple of minutes ago. But now we're finally here. I did get to watch the Boston Marathon this morning, at least parts of it anyway. I was running some errands this morning, so I didn't get the start, but I did catch the finish, and it was fantastic. Hopefully you guys watched it, or at least already know the results, because we're probably going to do some spoilers today if you haven't heard it already. But before we do that, let's say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast. Hopefully you are having a much more relaxed time than I am today. Maybe you're on a run. Maybe you're commuting home from work. Good news. It means you're done with work for the day and you can relax and have a more chill afternoon or evening. And everyone watching this on YouTube later in the day, in the evening, hopefully you're getting some chores done, wrapping up whatever it is you have to do home-wise, and are relaxing. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. We've got Frank says, is anyone waiting to see the results, or can we talk spoilers? It's 105, Frank. I think we got to talk some results. I mean, what else are we going to talk about? So I feel like we're gonna be talking. Tracy Smith says, hope we can discuss. Been watching all morning. Jeff wants to talk about it too. So yeah, I think we're gonna talk about the race today. Chris Dyke says, folks, might need to recharge myself. I knew with all the race tracking. And Philip Bourne says, yo, what's going on? All right, today what else we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little Monday mukbang, and I'm kind of phoning it in on this one, but I am actually really excited about it at the same time. I was just going to eat this food regularly, and I wasn't going to do a mukbang about it, but I didn't have a mukbang item for today. Just like I've been saying, we got a lot of stuff going on in our house. So we did go to the grocery store yesterday, and we picked up a whole bunch of different treats from this company called Nature's Bakery. They make fig bars is the main thing that I know from Nature's Bakery, but I found all these different flavors and different products, and I didn't know that they made all this stuff. And I'm really excited about it. The main reason I'm excited about it is because everything that they make, or at least everything that I've seen so far, is made in a dedicated peanut and tree nut free facility. So it's safe for my kids to eat. So we're going to try some of that now. And I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm going to dive right in. All right, let's start with the first one, and then we'll get to some comments, some quick takeaways, whatever you guys want to dive into when it comes to talking about the Boston Marathon this year. Let's start out with this one. It's an oatmeal crumble. This is the kind of stuff that I love to eat. Strawberry flavored. Now, I've eaten the strawberry fig bar from these guys. It's really, really good. It's kind of like, a Fig Newton kind of thing, but usually much tastier. And this is the oatmeal crumble. So I don't know if it's going to taste similar to that or not. It's one kind of large-ish bar. Not as long as like a Nutri-Grain bar, but a lot wider. Smells tasty. Smells kind of like apples. Tastes good. Tastes like a Nutri-Grain bar, but better. This is so much better than a Nutri-Grain bar. But it's in that family. It's those kind of flavors. All right. Let me scroll down. See what you guys have to say about either tax day or the Boston Marathon. Steven says, people that cheat on their taxes truly disgust me. This is not the world I want to raise my 27 dependents. I haven't heard a tax joke in a long time. There you go. All right. Some people might still be out there cheering. Chris Dyke, I think, is out there. Says a friend finished at 2:57 and said the headwind/wind was brutal. Looked like a beauty of a day out there. It looked absolutely fantastic to me. Sitting from the comforts of my couch. But yeah, it looks like people were out there having a good time. From what I was able to see from the television broadcast, although the TV broadcast that I watched didn't show very much of normies. It only showed kind of the pros. And Kyle wants to know, is anyone watching from the finish line? That'd be cool. Let me know if you're doing that. Awesome. Now, a couple of results. I mean, we can talk about the actual finishing. I think the thing that's probably most interesting for most of us here is the American finishing results, which I thought were a little bit surprising, to be honest. Both on the men and women, maybe not so much on the men's side, but on the women's side, very much, not very much, but not what I would have predicted. But some names that you're happy to see are doing some work. But the one thing that there's a lot of people that are there who are normally here in the live stream. Martha's there. It looks like Shannon's over there too. So those are some people that we'll be having to track. But I just looked up a minute ago and I saw that Megan Murray from Believe in the Run finished today at an amazing 2:48. That's definitely a big PR for her, by I think like 3 minutes or so. So that's amazing. That's a 20-minute. She did 20-minute 5Ks all the way through. Absolutely incredible. Let's see. Shannon is at the 35K mark at 3:05. That's speedy. She's having a good day. And Adam says Sue is at 2:29 behind Shannon at the 35K point. All right. They're going to be right there at the finish, right there next to each other. That's fantastic. So cool. So cool. Antonio, did you run today? Today's Boston Marathon, you ran in 2:58:15 a PB? That's amazing. People are hitting PRs today at the Boston Marathon. Really incredible. I mean, I think you guys had good weather. I mean, if there's a headwind, that surely takes away from it. I mean, from the perfect weather kind of argument, but man, what a great day. And it just looked like it was so much fun for everyone that was out there. It was to the point where I had so much like FOMO that I was like, I should have been there. That I was like, I had to put my phone down. Like I had to at a certain point, I stopped looking at Instagram, I stopped looking at Twitter because I'm like, people out there are having so much more fun than I am. And so I was bummed. I am bummed. But happy for all you guys. And 2:58:15 on Boston. Man, Antonio, that's great. And then it looks like Louis says that Marsha is at the 30K mark. Awesome. Very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Kyle says that Yuki bagged another sub 220. Man, that guy's amazing. Man, that's just, how does he do that? Susie here says, I Run Things says, the weather was incredible. Yeah, very cool. I mean, the weather reports that I saw said that winds were going to be out of the east-southeast. So I guess it's not a headwind, but it's not a tailwind by any chance, by any means, you know. Danny Running with Scissors says he's working today, but he did place third overall at a trail half marathon on Saturday. Congratulations, Danny. That sounds like a lot of fun. Awesome. I think, yeah, I see he says the finish line crossing for the women was incredible. That back and forth at the end, I was not expecting that. And the so many of the lead changes at the end was just absolutely astonishing. The crowd had to have been going so crazy to keep seeing that, like just as in the last 600 meters, just even on the last 600 meters, there was just so much craziness going on. Yeah, and here's something that Tracy points out, that Nell Rojas was in Alpha Flies, and she just got picked up by Adidas in January. Yeah, earlier this morning, I saw the news broken by Allie Feller. Someone had, I think it was Aaron Stout, had posted the images of all the race kits from the elite women. And Allie Feller replied to me like, don't forget, Nell Rojas is going to be running an all black kit today, or like a blank kit today, because she decided to drop Adidas. She had dropped Adidas because she wanted to run not in the Adios Pro. She said the shoes weren't, according to Ali Feller, the shoes weren't working for Nell Rojas. So she switched and went in the Alpha Flies. That's a big deal. I mean, that being said, didn't Adidas sweep the men's and women's? Not sweep, but like podium. I think it was Adidas Nike for both the men and the women. Am I wrong on that? I don't remember what third places were. So, yeah, incredible news to hear that today as well. And then she came in and dropped Adidas and threw down top American woman. I mean, talk about being secure with herself and feeling confident. I mean, that's big confidence. Yeah, I mean, that's just really, really incredible. Such I think that's going to be an incredible storyline for the entire day. But there's so many other storylines too. The other major storyline being that Molly Seidel dropped out of the race. I think, was it like 2/3 of the way through? I don't remember the exact mile marker. There was a lot of speculation from the announcing team, at least the NBC broadcast announcing team, that she's probably saving herself for Worlds. So that's something that she would have had to do if she wasn't in contention for that podium, that, she would instead save her legs for World Championship, because that's maybe not the bigger race, but another big race coming up in just like 2 months. The other thing to think about is that, if she could have pulled out like a 10th, that's a good payday, right? For the Boston Marathon. So maybe, I don't know where she was when she dropped out, but that's also another big story. And then that made the top 3 American women being Nell Rojas, and then Steph Bruce, and then Des Linden. So it was like, whoa, that's not what I was necessarily expecting. I wasn't writing them off, but I thought there would be Molly Seidel in there. I don't know if I thought Dakota Lindworm would be in there, but you had Vaughn in there as well. So there's a lot of, potential for people to have some breakthrough races. I mean, Dakota Lindworm was top 3rd American last year in a little bit of a less stacked field, but just a lot. Yeah. A lot of different stuff happening. So pretty crazy. Yeah, Regan Dugan said, wasn't able to watch the race, but I remember Seth mentioning on his stream that Molly didn't look comfortable. She didn't, but I feel like I mean, she wasn't smiling, and neither was Dakota Lindworm. Normally she's super smiley, but I always feel like that's kind of her stride. Never looks super comfortable to me, but she could just knock out the miles like a champ. So I always just kind of be like, she just has a different looking stride, and she has the sunglasses. You can't always tell, but yeah, I mean, before she dropped, I remember when she dropped, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Kyle said Des finished pretty strong. I don't think I saw any coverage of Des actually running at all. And then Susie wants to know, do we know why she dropped? Yeah, we don't know for sure, but I think it's probably because she's got World Championships coming up is it July? Something like that. All right, let's get to some more food because I'm so hungry. This one, I'm not sure I'm going to like this one. I don't like banana stuff. It's banana chocolate chip for this baked-ins. So we'll see how it goes. For the nutrition info on this stuff, it's 140 calories per serving, 120 milligrams of salt, and 22 grams of carbs, 2 grams of protein. Just kind of like a nice little baked good of a snack. This one, the dimensions are, this one's like a little bit smaller. So it's like a giant-sized Fig Newton almost. And it's got like a little, crumbly bits on the top. It's got organic fruits and veggies in every bite. Tastes like banana bread with chocolate chips in it. So, pretty good. I don't mind banana bread. My mother-in-law just made us a big loaf of banana bread before we left. We were there for a lot of last week in Iowa. I think her banana bread is better than this. There's something about this that kind of tastes funny. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the grain or there's date paste in here as part of the sweetening. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. There's also sweet potato puree in this too. I don't love it. Frank says CJ Albertson continues to be the ballsiest marathon runner. Yeah. What they did point out today on the broadcast was that they came through the half marathon point this year almost a minute faster than he came through last year. Last year he was by himself by about like a minute and a half by the halfway point. This year he was in a pack of like 20 guys. So that was just a different way it was run. And it goes to show that he wasn't that crazy last year, although it looked like it by the way he ran it, but he wasn't that crazy last year. I don't know. I can't tell if CJ Albertson is crazy or just like full of youthful exuberance or is really just that good. Probably a little bit of all three. Dad Runner Al says, I like a baked... Oh, you change your profile picture over here. So I like a baked good cookie, biscuit, or bar on long runs, usually around mile 16. That does sound pretty nice. I don't think I've ever had that. Susie says, sweet potatoes and dates and banana. Yeah, and there's chocolate in here too. It's kind of a weird flavor. I don't love this one. I'm thinking my kids will probably like it though. The baby really likes anything with banana in it. She might eat this one. She also likes it if there's chocolate and stuff. Frank today is eating Reese's peanut butter eggs. You know what I was also thinking about doing today's mukbang with? Let me see if I can pick this up without dropping them all. The kids have all the Easter eggs that they dyed. And I was like, maybe I'll just eat a dozen eggs for the mukbang today. But I don't think anyone needs to see that. Tracy Smith says, what about Fauble? Yeah, it's... what was a little bit not, I guess, disappointing is that, like, early in the coverage, there was the panel of 4, the Mario Kart style race coverage. So you can see men's push rim, women's push rim, men elite, women elite. But then as the wheelchair racers finished, we just went down to 2 screens. I would have loved to still have 4 feeds. Maybe like an American feed, men and women. I feel like that would have been really cool to have. I understand that there's logistical reasons why that could have been difficult, but I don't know. I would have loved to have seen that. So we could have seen more of Scott Fauble's race. Because I didn't get a sense of his racing hardly at all after about like the halfway point once the lead pack started stretching out a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing because, I will admit that I was starting to think that, well, I don't know about Scott Fauble anymore, after how he did last Boston. Not that he did a terrible job, but, he went from being, one of America's best marathoners to like, does he still have it? I'm not sure. I mean, I'll admit I had doubts. I'm not saying that's what I thought, but sometimes I was like, I don't know about him. But he came through huge. And I forgot that he's still unsponsored, right? No sponsors picked him up. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Absolutely crazy. That he's just like out there grinding on his own. Not on his own. He's out there with the Boss Hard group, and he's got lots of training partners and lots of people that he's working, but he's financing all that stuff himself. He doesn't have a sponsor helping to defray some of those costs. All right. Natsuku says, sorry if this is a topic change, but I've been meaning to ask this question all weekend. I found the New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel 2 for 50% off. I know you love them. Worth it? They might only last 200 miles. I think that they'll last a lot longer than that. I know that Ben Johnson ran like 400 miles in his, and he still absolutely loved them. I think that was one of his favorite shoes. But I enjoy them, but for me, that they're a little bit thin in terms of like not enough stack height in the forefoot. That fuel cell foam, I just think you need a lot more of it because it compresses a lot. But I use it for shorter distance runs, and I like it for workouts. So it's a good shoe. At 50% off, I think it's Worth it if you need a shoe that fits kind of like that category. If you just want another lighter daily trainer, then I think that sounds like a pretty good deal. All right. Let's see. Kyle Patton says, I didn't run Boston today, but I did run today. Neuroma seems to be much happier in Ultra, so I may have to stick with Ultra for life now. Or it just might be until your foot can kind of heal a little bit and relax. But, Ultras, I haven't had a chance to try the new Vanish Carbon yet, but it looks interesting. What did I watch? I watched a Running Warehouse video where Connor was interviewing the product line manager for the Vanish Carbon. One thing that I will note in the running footage for the Ultra Vanish Carbon, when Connor runs in that, his foot does what my foot does. I mean, my foot does what his does, if you want to put it more, or however you want to look at it, where it doesn't like hit the ground flat, but his foot rolls in from the outside, from the pinky toe in. Some shoes it's more prominent than others. In the footage for the Ultra Vanish Carbon, Ultra Vanish R, I don't the name, is what I'm talking. That red shoe that's been out. The shoe, his foot really curves in a lot as it hits the ground. It hits from the outside and then rolls in quite a bit. I don't know what that means, but it's something that is very prominent, especially in that shoe. And I think that certain shoes can exacerbate certain things that our bodies want to do more than others. But I'm looking forward to trying that one. All right, Hillary Thornton says, if you can bring in 10th place, it pays $5,500. All right, so, getting out there and grinding it out for 10th might not be worth it if you are a Molly Seidel caliber runner. And so dropping out of the race is, if you are thinking, it's not my best day and I do want to see how well I can perform for World Championships, then dropping out probably seems like the right idea. I don't know who said it. I saw it earlier and then I didn't have a chance to highlight it. But someone said that Tony Macias, who comes to the live stream regularly and who I ran with for a little bit at the LA Marathon, came in at 2:58 today. Solid. When I saw him, he was out there pacing someone. Did he say girlfriend, wife? I don't remember. He was out there pacing someone, and then we ran together for a little bit, and we talked, and then he was like, all right, I got to go back and go find my person. So, yeah. All right. Rain Runner said, my friend Janet finished in 3:20. I think her PB. That's awesome. Good job, Janet. I run things. Susie wants to know, which shoe is better, a Trey the Artist or the Saucony Endorphin Pro? I mean, I think that the better shoe is the Endorphin Pro. But I don't want to race a marathon in the Endorphin Pro. I could race a marathon in the Atreyu Artist. Just because it's a softer shoe. The Endorphin Pro is a bit too firm for me to take the marathon distance. The Artist isn't quite as aggressive as the Endorphin Pro is, so I wouldn't like it as much for, say, like a 10K race, or maybe, I think I'd probably still really enjoy it for a half marathon. But that shoe is really good for like everything from like easy pace. The Artist, is from easy pace to like marathon pace, maybe up to half marathon pace. And then I just feel like it feels a little bit imprecise once you're starting to get very fast. So there, when you have something that's a little bit more rigid, like the Endorphin Pro, then I think that shoe starts to shine a little bit more. Rainer said, my friend ran Boston in her Nike Peg 36s. Now suddenly she's trying to try a super shoe. Well, she doesn't have to try a super shoe, but, Peg 36, that's an older shoe. That was a good year for the Pegasus. But it's it's a 3-year-old shoe at this point, or almost a 3-year-old shoe. So it's probably got some miles on it. So that's what would have me worried. And here we go. Here's Tony. What's going on, Tony Macias? He says he finished Boston, course PR of 2:56.11. And he saw Romeo on course 2. Awesome. That's so cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Congratulations, Tony. That's a fantastic time. What's harder? Boston or LA? LA's harder, right? That's got to be a tougher. I think there's more elevation gain. just even if it's not, just tell me LA's harder. So that way I feel like, all right, I already did LA. I can do Boston now. Brendan's here. He says, Buongiorno. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. What's going on, Brendan? Adam says, I think Adam said this a little bit earlier too, and I missed it. Edna Kiplagat coming in at 42 years old. She was the fourth woman. She was in third for a long time. She got passed, I think, in the last mile, maybe the last half mile. And that may be a Masters world record. It could be. It could be. I mean, that's just a bonkers time. Wait, 220? Was it 221? Is that the right time? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was funny the way that that Kara Goucher was talking about her all day. She was like, guys, don't forget about Edna Kiplagat because she's an experienced runner. She's a Masters runner. She's been on this course. She knows how to race it. She's holding herself back, but you could always see her there. She was just say this all over and over again the entire race. And then, like, you know, in the last mile, we saw the first two runners duking it out. And then Kara Goucher's like, and then you could see, I think I saw it in third place. It's Edna Kiplagat. I told you, she's right there. She's right there. She was so excited. It was definitely fun to see. All right, Tony says Boston is harder. Boston is harder, I would say. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I gotta keep working on it. I gotta keep training. And Adam says second male Toronto was wearing a yellow singlet and blue half tights. Nike color or for Ukraine? I think that's a Nike color. That's a color that they've had for a while. But I feel like they've been like I don't know what's going on with Nike. People have been complaining that like the kits haven't been updated recently, and I think that the Boston Marathon there was some new stuff that was supposed to come out, but I thought I saw stuff that looked like I'd seen it before. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it. Oh, JC says Shannon is almost in the finish. She's in the last mile. I do like how Boston has, like, on the tracking, you could see what they're at the last mile. And I noticed from the course, there was this big thing painted on the street that said last mile. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I need to know. And the other thing that I feel like I need to know is when you make that last left turn, that's 600 meters. So I feel like, okay, that's when you know you could put in your last kick. Because I can kick for 600 meters. You know, it's when I can't see the finish. It just drives me crazy. I know that's like a problem that I have, but mentally. But yeah. All right. Looney says Shannon's listening to my way to the finish. Let's go. Awesome. Awesome. We got so many cheers for Shannon in the chat. That's so cool. So cool. Yeah, Frank says, isn't the yellow and blue just BAA colors? BAA colors are that as well. I think it's a slightly different blue and a slightly different yellow. Although sometimes BAA plays around with the colors of the blue. So I don't know. James Voss says, Scott Fauble was in a Lulu. He was in a Lulu singlet? No way. No way. Really? That's funny. It's funny. All right. Let's get to the, I'm just having a hard time with that. All right. Let's get to the next one from Nature's Bakery. These are bacons. I don't know. They're like bars with like just, it's like a crumble of stuff on top. This is chocolate oat. I have a feeling this is the one I'm going to like the most. Although I do really like the strawberry one. Yeah, number-wise, it's all kind of like the same nutritional value. All right. Here it is. They're a little bit messy. But they're also dairy-free. Are they all dairy-free? I think they are. Which may be why they're crumbling. All right. We got Turn 2 is here. He's just joined. Shannon's finishing in the next 5 minutes. Leon is hitting the something mark, 40K mark. Yeah, it must be. Well, it could be. I think it's 40K. Very, very cool. Linda says, Fobble's post-race interview was in a Lululemon hat. They're getting into running. That's so funny. Is he gonna? Can you imagine if he gets sponsored by Lululemon? Then Lululemon would have like him and Steeple Squiggs. That's a weird combo. Two very different personalities. Interesting. Stevie's I'm an elite 600-meter kicker. No, I feel like the 600-meter distance, it's less than half a mile, but it's a not long enough distance where I feel like I can convince myself I can put in one last effort. You know? And Chris Dyke says, Remy just said that Martha just passed him. Let's go, Martha. Awesome. Very, very cool. Very, very cool to see everyone finishing like during the live stream. That's so much fun. So much fun. Oh, man. I really wish I were out there today. But I'm just not sure how I would have approached watching this race. I don't know. Did you guys watch any of the Sidious Mag live stream? They had like the TV on. You couldn't see it for copyright reasons or hear it. And then they would just, there was 4 of them there that were commenting on what was going on. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I was there for a while. I kind of enjoyed it more than the regular broadcast. Because instead of it feeling like a broadcast that I was listening to, it just felt like, you know, you were watching a race with some friends, you know. Chris Dyke says, the Lulu has female shoes and they are terrible for runners, probably meant for workouts. Yeah, I've seen those, and I've seen some people like review them on TikTok and stuff. I wouldn't be interested in a Lululemon shoe if they made one for men, but yeah, but I think they'll probably send a bunch of those. I have a feeling that it's the exact same target and demographic as the Hoka Kawana. Like the product brief for that is probably the exact same person in the exact same use case. That's what I think. Adam says, you could have watched the race following the Rosie Ruiz route. You don't have to tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. Who was I listening to that said, oh, I think it was the Hanson's Distant Project Twitter account was like, we're going to get out there and someone who's a local is going to drive us to like 3 different spots on the race. And I'm like, 3 spots? That's ambitious. Very ambitious. Kyle says the shoes are being reviewed on TikTok. LOL, the jokes wreck themselves sometimes. There's people doing some really good shoe reviews on TikTok. And by review, I just mean like influencer style stuff. Like, hey, I just got these shoes from Lululemon. Kind of. I mean, I don't think that they're product placed. I don't think that like Lululemon's sending them out. I just think that's people that, you know, they have lots of Lululemon stuff. And they're like, hey, I got these shoes. Let me tell you about them. Which is a point of view that I use, so that's kind of like the way I approach things too. So, yeah. Ed said the Lulu apparel is pretty great for running. I mean, yeah. They made some really good Chicago Marathon stuff a couple of years ago. It had like the Chicago skyline in gray, like a very gray, like dark gray, almost black silhouette on their black shorts, and I was like, I should get those. I mean, those are my favorite colors together. I've never actually run in them, though. Oh, Tracy Smith says Rosie Ruiz is infamous for cheating and taking an undeserved win. Okay, that's funny. All right, we got Shannon's finishing time at 3:45.19. Awesome for her. Fantastic. Thanks, Louise, for the update. And let's see. Sue is finishing in the next 5 minutes because she's in the final stretch. Awesome. So very, very cool. That's amazing. That's amazing, guys. Good work, everybody. All right, let's eat the last one. I'm getting kind of full from eating all these baked goods. I don't know if they're baked, but they're kind of baked goods. The one I saved for last is Brownie. It's a double chocolate. I know the baby's going to love this one. She's a chocoholic. Numbers are pretty much the same on all these. Oh, this one has a little bit more calories than the other ones. This one actually has a lot more. It's 200 calories. And a lot more sugar. 37 grams of sugar. Why is there so much sugar in it? But it also has twice the protein. 4 grams of protein compared to the other ones. And this one is shaped more like the fig bars that I'm used to from this brand, Nature's Bakery. So there's two... Sorry. So there's 2 of these, and they actually look, this is what the fig bars look like from when they make fig bars, except the colors are different. But instead of having like a fig filling, it's just 2 little brownies. They probably use the same machine to extrude and make them. I'm not sure if that's the right word for how they made these, but yeah. This is good. This is chocolate. It's tasty. It definitely has like, it doesn't taste like a brownie that someone made at home. The texture is wrong for that. But it tastes like a fancier brownie that you can buy. Not bad. Sue's come in today at 3:48:36. Awesome. Great job. Fantastic. And Martha's at the 35K mark. She's coming in fast. Awesome. Good job, everybody. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very cool. Yeah, good job by the Cozy Run Club. If I can claim one of these runners today, that'd be fun. Very awesome. I saw some photos from the Believe in the Run shakeout. They did one, Megan Featherston did the bagels, and they did a shakeout run from the ASICS brand house in Boston. And I was like, oh man, there's a lot of people there. I saw Martha posted a picture with Thomas. And I was like, oh man, that's an event I wish I were at. So definitely very cool. Any other Boston stories that you guys thought were important? I'm trying to remember. There's just so much that happened. I'm trying to think of the men's story. But I don't know. I don't think we really got to see much of the American men today. Where did CJ ended up finishing at? Was he in the top? I don't think he was in the top 3 men, was he? It was Fauble, someone else, and then who was the third? I'm trying to remember. And Eric says, it looks like Tommy was doing some awesome stuff over the weekend. He was super involved in some panels and community events. Yeah, he was doing stuff with, I don't know if he was doing stuff with ASICS, but he was doing stuff with UCAN. And he was doing stuff with Tracksmith. So he was busy. He was doing a lot of stuff. Might have been too much. Because Chris Dyke says, Tommy runs hit a wall. Glad he finished, but man, it looked like a struggle. Oh, man. I'll have to follow up with him and see how he did. Frank said CJ came in at 2:11. Okay. There we go. He really says, someone should save these chats so our friends can see all the nice comments. The live chat just disappears when the live stream ends. It doesn't. It goes away for a little while. And then after a while, it comes back. So like if you go like, I think this is how it works. If you wait till like the next day, the chat comes back. If you look at the live stream like an hour from when it's done, it's not there. I don't understand how that works, but yeah. Okay. Adam says that CJ did come in the top 3 American men. And you know what? Noah Drawdy predicted it. No, wait. No, he didn't. Because CJ is Brooks. I keep forgetting that. Noah Drawdy predicted that there would the 2 of the top 3 Americans would be unsponsored. He was right on Fauble. Did you see the latest Steven Gunoza vlog? I'm going to nominate you for a Nobel Prize. What did I do now? I haven't seen that one. I'll have to go check it out. Yeah, he's been posting all weekend. Like, for those of you who are missing out on Boston and are wishing you were there, just run faster next year. I was like, I did. All right, I'll be there next year. I'll see you there. Is he there this year? I don't think he's there this year, is he? I don't know. I'm not sure if he is or not. I don't think I saw him there. But yeah, I did see people posting pictures of their Tracksmith bananas. And I will say that one thing that I did not realize earlier is that the Tracksmith bananas have a Tracksmith banana sticker. It's not like a Chiquita banana sticker. It's a Tracksmith banana sticker. So, I mean, I would get the banana to save the sticker and then maybe put the sticker on something. But they were giving out more bananas this year. Linda L thinks, I think we need a new sponsorship model in the U.S. In a lot of ways, I agree with you. I think that would make sense. I don't necessarily think it should be all about the shoe sponsors so much. But on the other hand, like, I think the shoe sponsors should dominate. I mean, I think all the people that make all the comparisons of running and track or marathoning, professional running in general, to F1 are making a really good point because there's a lot of similarities there, right? So, like, the shoe sponsors aren't as big a deal in basketball, but in basketball, the running isn't as big a part. I mean, it's very important. It's a very athletic endeavor. But, you know, even the basketball companies don't control the league. It's actually the owners that control the league. And so if you want a professional athlete system that is more like other professional ball sports, baseball, hockey, football, basketball, then what you really need is not a brand sponsorship model. You need an ownership model. And then that makes me think like, oh man, but one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of professional sports right now is I can't stand those owners. And so that's a big turnoff and a draw, like, you know, I don't know. So it's kind of like, is this worse? I don't know. How much worse can it get? I think a lot. If we get into like player contracts, free agency, maybe the players would make more money, but not until some owners make a lot more first. So I'm not sure, but I guess the shoe brands are making a ton of money. But like, how much I mean, it's like, I don't know. When I think about like a professional sports team owner, like someone that owns the Bears or the Clippers or some other, or the Cubs, I don't have very positive feelings about that. But then when I think about like, well, who's sponsoring like a Ferrari F1 team? Ferrari. Do I have a bad feeling about that? Not really. So it doesn't seem as like evil or one party taking advantage of another, you know? I don't know. Super Unjit says, what about national leagues? I'd rather have state-sponsored running teams than privately owned. Yeah, I mean, but there already is like a USATF, you know, and they fund some stuff. But the biggest sponsor of USATF is Nike. I think that they sponsor more than like 60% of their operations. So it's like, you know, how did that didn't really move the ball very much, you know? Cody says, can I get a beer sponsor? I'll shotgun a beer at every mile marker for every race I do. I mean, if you're doing a marathon, talk about needing recovery time. I mean, that's going to be tough. M says, buy a team. The Broncos are for sale. I think if any YouTuber is going to buy the Broncos, it's going to be Seth, right? So. It wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me. I mean, I don't think that I like sports teams enough. Not that I would ever have enough money for it, but even if I did, I'm not sure that's a route that I would take. I mean, I think that, I don't know. I've often thought like, all right, like weird imagination thing. Like if you imagine you had somehow had, you know, an ungodly amount of money. Like what would you do? I mean, you think about like the $43 billion Twitter thing from Elon Musk. It's like, what are some other things you could do with that? Or even if you had something much less than that. Like, could there be, like Linda's saying, like, if all the subscribers given $1 each, we could buy a runner, you know, or not buy a runner. That sounds weird, but sponsor a runner, you know, professionally. Like that would be kind of fun and interesting. Like instead of having like a Nike singlet, they would have like a Nike singlet that has Kofuzi written on it. Like that'd be really weird. I mean, they could wear whatever shoes they want. I mean, it might be exactly the kind of thing that runners are looking for. I mean, look at Nel Rojas, for example, right? So, I don't know. That's just a weird thing. Not that I'm ever going to do that. I don't think that this channel would ever get into a position where we could sponsor a runner, but I mean, it would be really interesting to see that. Can you imagine? Think about like how long people have been talking about Molly Seidel being a barista, or that like Sarah Vaughn still gets, you know, every time they say the word Sarah Vaughn, the other half of that breath is, and she's a mom and a realtor, right? So like that athlete would be like, and he's the first athlete sponsored by a YouTube channel. I mean, that'd just be, I don't know, that'd be weird. 76. So this is a really great Seth impersonation. Seth, I'm discerning whether to buy the Broncos. That's funny. I think that sounds just like him. Yeah. So discerning. Think of the vlog potential. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. Then it'd be someone that you have like access to their training, you know, like that would be all part of it, you know, like, I don't know, like someone that, I mean, like, I think, you know, what would make like the professional running media world really, really mad. I think that like there's a part of the running industry that already really dislikes running media, like you're running YouTube. I think that would be really funny, would be like if this YouTube channel sponsored another YouTube channel runner. Like if this channel sponsored like the Athlete Special. That would make so many people mad. Or if I like that's just the kind of thing that would make people very upset. Because people like to get upset about things. So, but that would be fun vlog potential. There would be a lot of good quality content, you know? So, I don't know. All right, let's see. Luis says, Leona just hit the 20-mile mark. Awesome. Just 10K to go, or just a little bit more than 10K. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, Dad Runner out said, like, if the running teams were state sponsored, it wouldn't have to necessarily have to be a socialist sports system, but you know, then does remind you a little bit of the socialist countries that had running teams, and then the democratic ones too, that also got very embroiled in doping. So there's, I think, weird things that happen when you get the government involved on that kind of endeavor. Or it could be, I don't know. Regan says, if you wanted to make people upset, we'd buy ad space on the Let's Run forum. That's funny. Someone the other day, I think it was after LA. Was it LA or something like that? Someone, like, they meant well, but apparently I don't go on Let's Run. I don't think it's a fun place to be. And someone had sent me a screenshot of a Let's Run post that was critical of me for some reason. And I'm just like, my mind is boggled by the fact that someone would take time to make a post that criticizes me. I'm like, what a waste of their time. And that person had responded, like, defending me. And then he was like, you know, and then they sent me a screenshot of that. And they're like, I think you did a great job out in LA. Don't be embarrassed. And I was like, Well, I thought I did a great job in LA too, and I wasn't embarrassed, but now I'm worried that maybe I should be, you know? So I'm like, that's the kind of thing that I'm like, I don't need Let's Run. The only thing that's good on Let's Run is Jonathan Galt, and I can get most of his takes and opinions on Twitter and away from Let's Run. So, yeah, I don't know. Frank says, I don't think anyone would be at all complained if Mike sponsored a high school cross country team. That would be fun. I think that would be amazing. Just like sponsoring like a local like middle school cross country team. That'd be amazing. I did used to have some daydreams of becoming a high school track coach about a little while ago, and I was like, I just don't have the commitment for it. It's a big time commitment, you know. And I'm also not an educator, so I think that's kind of like something that they want you to be when you're a coach of high school students. So that's another obstacle for me. But I thought that'd be kind of fun just to see that happen. And I was like, everyone talks about all these schools where like, and you know, I think everyone is familiar with the concept of like, yeah, like the high school track coach was like the gym teacher and the school needed a track coach. So normally he would coach baseball or something, but this year he decided to do track, you know, doesn't know really what he's doing, but decided to do it. Well, maybe I could hop in. So, you know, I thought that'd be fun. Or I could sponsor it. Like I'd pay for all their trips, just get them nice jackets and pay for all the hot dogs at the concession stand when they get there. There we go. It would be the best fed cross country team in the country. Dan said, I like the idea of more local running clubs and area coaches that follow the athletes as they mature, like they do in Britain, etc. I also really love that idea too. Who was I listening to an interview of? Someone that was in the Philadelphia. I listened to two different interviews. Someone that talked about growing up in Philadelphia and someone that grew up in Atlanta. And there's more of that style of running culture there, where there are running clubs that are independent of the school systems, but like you'll send your kids there from like age 5 as soon as they feel like they want to start running. And they're not like making them run 5Ks. They're doing like 100 meters or 40 yards or whatever, all the way up through high school and sometimes even into college, kind of like an AAU system. I think that'd be cool. I don't know that the Kofu's YouTube channel would ever sponsor an AAU track team, but the idea is kind of funny. Travis says, it would be great if more employers of our jobs that promote health and wellness would sponsor us runners to participate in marathon races. I think that's a great idea. But I'd say like, you know, maybe your company could do some kind of donor matching if you're doing fundraising for a race. That'd be kind of fun. Or if you could get like some sort of discount on your health insurance if you're a marathoner. Yeah, Reese says in the UK they have a lot of independent running clubs like his. Yeah, I mean, I see it over there and it sounds cool. Who was I listening to talking about it? Where I don't think it was Nick Willis, but someone was talking about either New Zealand or in Australia, or maybe it was someone from someone that has a kind of a British accent, but not British. That's the way I kind of glommed them all together. Maybe it was South African, but it was like the running clubs were something that your parents were in. And in the summertime, you just had picnics and like, the adults would get together and race, and then there would be a picnic, and then some of the kids would race. You'd sit down, eat some food, have some snacks, sit in the shade, and then go race some more. And it's just like what you would do on a summer day. And I was like, that sounds really pleasant. I really like that. Frank says, the thing about your time if you were a volunteer assistant high school cross country coach is that you could get a good chunk of your workouts in simultaneously. Can you imagine like if I were like the assistant high school cross country coach, or maybe like they'd be like, all right, you get the like the JV boys and girls like cross country. If it's a bigger school, maybe they give me just like, here, you take these guys and go away. They would all be training for a marathon by the end of the season for sure. I'd be like, guys, today we're gonna do 10 miles. I know it's a little long for you 5K runners, but we're gonna just do it at my easy pace. So that's what we're gonna do today. Can you imagine that if they're just like, no one understands why this team runs so much, and they'd be like, well, it's because the assistant coach is training for his own marathon. My high school coach, the throwers coach, in my high school track team, the throwers coach was a guy that did not look like a thrower. When you think about a thrower, you think about a guy that used to be a football player, right? That's like the body shape that you're envisioning. And this guy, I forget his name. I really forget his name. But he was one of those guys that, at least from my high school perspective, was like, that guy's super skinny, but he also looks like he's just like one giant muscle. And one time he was out there with us on one of our runs, and we were like, why is the throwing coach running with us today? He like hopped in with our workout. And he was telling us that he was training for an ultra marathon. And I was like, what's an ultra marathon? And he's like, well, basically, you know a marathon, right? I'm like, I know what that is. He's like, I'm running 2 of them in a row. I'm like, on the same day? He's like, yeah, like at once. And I'm like, that's impossible. He's like, that's what I'm training for. So that was my first experience with like what an ultra marathon. All I knew about ultra marathons was my entire conception of it was you just did 2 of them, like back to back. That's what an ultra marathon was. This is when I was like, this would have been like 1996 or 1997, somewhere in that range. And I just thought this was the most peculiar man I've ever met. And he was an enigma because I don't know what he taught. I don't remember what he taught. No one knew what he taught. But he was the throwing coach, and he would just show up after school. I don't remember if our throwers were any good. But yeah. Gabriel Miller says, a great book, The Way of the Runner, details Japanese running teams that are company sponsored, theorizes this is why Japan has far outpassed the U.S. for a number of sub 210 runners. Yeah, I mean, I remember reading that, and I thought that was really pretty incredible. And it just seemed really funny to me. Like, if they had that system here, like, can you imagine if they did all professional sports in the U.S. like this? It'd be like the basketball team wouldn't be like the Chicago Bulls. It would be like the United Airlines Bulls, and they would all not, in addition to having like their basketball games that they play, they would all have to like not at least nominally show up for work at the airline. Right? That's the part that I find about it so funny. So like they actually had to like show up to a desk at some point too. I don't know if it's still that way, but like Suguru Osako, I think he ran for Honda, didn't he? In Japan. So like I ran for Honda when he did Ekiden, and he also ran for Nike, like during his career. Right? Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but I thought it was something like that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and Garrett says sometimes they transition to an office position after retirement, and it's highly recommended. That part I think is super cool, and that's why I love what Traxxas is doing with like Nick Willis. As he's like ending his professional running career, he's got a job at Tracksmith. And then I was just listening to the Believe in the Run podcast with Mary Denholm, who is an OTQ runner. She ran in the trials in 2020. Oh, she ran Boston today too, didn't she? I'm trying to think. She's in Boston today. I wonder how she did. But she also is like in the marketing department at Rabbit. So she was she used to be a lawyer and then decided to stop practicing law, which I can relate to. And then she started running, and she got very good at it became like a rabbit elite and got very involved in the company, like from a runner's perspective. And then there was like a marketing opening. And so she had experience in that space, and they moved her into that role. And so now she's a professional runner, and a kind of in the same way that like Nick Willis is still a professional runner, but also works at the company. I think that there should be more of that. I mean, I do think that like brands like Nike do that already. Brands like Adidas also do that. I think that the balance of like employee and runner may be more skewed towards the employee side when like Adidas and Nike do it, but there's certainly a lot of that too. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a natural transition, especially now as there's just more visibility of runners beyond their prime competition years, and that name brand recognition can still carry them further for someone like, for example, like Steph Bruce, for the athletes to transition to work for the brands, I think makes a bunch of sense. Kyle says, are you still using Audible? Have you tried any other platforms? I haven't tried any other platforms. I don't know what other platforms there are. For audiobooks, I only use Audible. I wouldn't mind using something else as long as I have, the library of all the other options to choose from. Cody says, I work for UPS. I would totally rock a brown singlet with the UPS logo on it. You know what? I feel like the UPS uniforms have been getting much better. Yesterday, I was driving around and I saw a guy pop out of a UPS truck, and he had like a brown rain jacket on with like a reflective stripe on it coming down the sleeves. And then he had brown shorts and like black tights underneath, because it was kind of like it's still really cold here in Chicago. And I was like, that's not a bad looking work uniform. I like that. I feel like I could go run like that on a rainy, windy day. Yeah. So I think that could work. I mean, UPS is already heavily involved in a lot of races. Like for last year's New York Marathon, bag check was handled by UPS. So you would drop your bags off at a UPS truck, and it would get transported somewhere else for the finish. I'm trying to think, what other race did I go to that also? There was another race recently that I went to that had that. I want to say Cherry Blossom did that. No, Cherry Blossom didn't do that. It was a race where I didn't have to do bag check because I think it was an ASICS race, and they took care of me. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think it makes sense. They should sponsor a team. And Tracy says, isn't that essentially what the NN running team is? I think so. Let's see what else we got here. Gabriel Miller says, it would be so cool to see a tech company like Apple sponsor some runners. Would love to see what kind of tech they'd come up with to aid American runners. I mean, you'd have to convince pro athletes to run with an Apple Watch. That'd be the hard part. I don't think I've seen any. Have you guys seen any pro runners running with an Apple Watch as their primary? You know who else runs with two watches? I forget what her name is. Sally Wazell Sally. I think she does. Because Wazell just put out a shirt that has watch holes on each arm. And they were like, because you might be left-handed, or you might live in a world where you need two watches when you run like I do. So we made this. And then someone replied like, oh man, I wish they made that for men. And I replied to that because I was like, Rabbit makes one. The Rabbit thing, I forget what it's called, but the one with the built-in neck gaiter, that has a watch hole on each side. And I definitely use them both because I usually run with an Apple Watch for emergencies, phone calls, Audible, music, and then I run with my regular watch on the other. Stevie76 says 2-inch UPS shorts. You know what'd be amazing is if there was a UPS running team, they would certainly make a UPS split short. I guarantee it. But you know what I bet they would also do? I bet they would also sell it on like the internal UPS like uniform purchasing site, and some dude would see it and be like, why do they make this? But it's on the UPS site. I'm going to use that when I make my deliveries tomorrow on like April Fools or whatever. And someone's going to like make deliveries in a 2-inch split short. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. That'd be amazing. Oh, and it says Amelia Boone is a lawyer for Apple. Isn't she the Ultra Runner? I didn't know she was a lawyer for Apple. I'm not sure I knew that she was a lawyer. I didn't know that. Kyle says the Apple Watch is capable. The touchscreen isn't great, but Apple can make a competitive device if they want. If they wanted, but it would have to go. It would violate a lot of their brand standards for the device. So it would need more than one button. Well, there's actually 2 buttons on the Apple Watch, but they would need more buttons than that, and it would need to be much bigger so that it could have a longer battery. The current battery is the big problem. Yeah, so those are the main 2 things that they won't do. I mean, otherwise I would totally rock it. I've run a marathon with the Apple Watch before. It's just not my favorite. I've run a couple of marathons with the Apple Watch. Adam says, why were the women's leaders looking at their watches so often at the end? That's a good question. And I was listening to we'll probably end it with this. Oh, we went long today. I was listening to the NBC broadcast of it. I think it was NBC, right? Yeah, it was NBC. And I think it was Kara Gusher was like, they must be trying to figure out when they can make their move. Like maybe they didn't know exactly where they were on the course. Or maybe they were like, well, it feels like we're going fast. Is this the move? Maybe they were doing that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they were looking at it so much. But I think that they were both like really tired by the end of the race. And they were just like, how much more real estate do I have before I have to make my move to try to put this race away? I think that's what it was. All right. I think that's going to be a good place to end it for today, guys. So many great Boston Marathon stories. I'm sure more will trickle in for tomorrow, so we'll talk about it again tomorrow. Tomorrow there won't be a video, but I will see you guys for a live stream. Trivia Tuesday, we'll figure out something else to talk about for Trivia Tuesday. Maybe we'll make it another Boston theme based on if some of the results that came in and some of the other stories. So maybe we'll talk about Boston again. There's plenty to talk about. Or maybe we'll talk about something else. But we'll find out for tomorrow. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. So hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.